smoke. Hit makers. Views and likes, we run it up. Subscribe to the boys and run it up. It's your favorite podcast, turn it up. The Run going live, we done it up. If you like sports, we got it. You see the game winner, who shot it? Score a touchdown in the last second. We gonna talk about it in the next segment. We gonna talk about all the sports you like. We live at 7 on a Thursday night. Come home from work and grab a bite. Then listen to the fellas talk about the fight. We got Sean Griffin, Mason Kills. Can't forget about the boy Lance Rochelle. We talking NBA and Major League. You know we gotta talk about the NFL. AJ Nash, did you see that pass? We ducking so hard that we breaking the glass. To run the best podcast y'all done heard. Let's tell everybody, help spread the word. So kick back and rest your nerve. We give you everything sports fans deserve. Guys tell your girls, girls tell you dude. We on Instagram and we on YouTube. Views and likes, we run it up. Subscribe to the boys and run it up. It's your favorite podcast, turn it up. The Run going live, we done it up. If you like sports, we got it. You see the game winner, who shot it? Score a touchdown in the last second. We gonna talk about it in the next segment.
Yeah. Everybody, welcome to the most dangerous podcast in the city. This is The Run. We got Sean Griffin right there down at the bottom. We got the birthday boy right here. We got Lance Rochelle, Mr. Birthday Man himself.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Came
sir.
to hang out, on his birthday because we got a big show on tap for you guys today. First of all, we're gonna talk about a little bit of this crazy Elite Eight going into this Final Four this weekend. And then we're going to bring in the man of the hour, Shannon Baker, touchdown maker, shake and bake, whatever nicknames you got for him, Mr. Swag himself, Mr. Swag writing everything himself. Yeah, we're going to get into all that. But first and foremost, we got to pay these bills. Let's start off with this Elite Eight. We have Purdue versus Tennessee. Purdue wins it 72-66. Zach Edey, 40 points, 16 rebounds.
Zach was fired up, man. He was cussing in the interview and everything. Zach was fired up, man.
That's a lot of man down there in that paint, boy. That's a lot of man.
That boy was fired up after that game.
I mean, it's just another dominant display by Purdue. Strong post game. Speaking of post game.
So he bringing the real big man back.
I mean, what is Zach Edey's side? Is he 7 foot?
Yeah, he's 7 4.
7'3", 7'4".
I think he's 7'4". But he gonna have his hands full with that big boy.
Listen. Speaking of North Carolina State, that's a good segue. Let's go ahead and get into that. North Carolina State wins handily over Duke 76-64. DJ Burns, mama, there goes that man. DJ Burns, 29 points.
I told you before the tournament started.
You did. You called that now.
I told you before the tournament started. I told you they were gonna beat me. They're gonna have trouble with this boy in this tournament. He's too physical, he's too skilled. I told you they were gonna have trouble with this boy in the tournament. I said North Carolina State was my sleeper because of him. And look, they in the final four.
Just he has such, his feet is so he got really good feet for a guy his size.
Man, and he passed.
Yeah, and he's gonna give it to the open man. He watched somebody.
Yeah, he said he studied Elijah going too.
Yeah, Dominique and Hakeem, man.
Yeah, but he said he was blessed with the Zach Randolph body.
That's who you remind you of, Zach Randolph. But he don't have the face-up game yet like Zach Randolph.
You say what?
He look like
Eddie
Eddie
Winslow.
Winslow, man.
He don't have that face-up game. Right now, he's strictly, back you down in the post, make the defense collapse. He's going to dish it to the open man. So if he's going to prevail in the next level, he's going to have to develop somewhat of a face-up game in the jump.
Yeah.
But as of right now, he's just
don't fix it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Not too many big men in the league today have a back down game. You know what I'm saying? Not too many big men in the league today can play with their back to the rim. So he's going to be a hot commodity in that. So look at the numbers that he's putting up, and he doesn't have a face-up game. If you can't get a body on him, stop him from backing you down, bro. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
So what you saying? You saying you don't need? I mean, but in today's game, as far as spread them out, having a big man that can shoot the three, that can have a face-up game, that can shoot that 18 to 20 footer. He's going to have to develop eventually. In today's game, it's just the game has changed so much.
I wouldn't force it. I wouldn't force it because you're coming up on troubled waters. Like I said, bigs now most bigs now can't play with their back to the rim.
No, they should.
Most bigs now cannot play with their back to the rim.
They
want your big to be able to shoot threes. They want your big to be able to do all this extra moving around the post or around the wing. Cool. He's a hot commodity in such that he's putting up the same numbers playing with his back to the rim that a lot of these bigs are struggling to put up with a face-up game.
Man, but listen though.
So first of all, can you guard him with his back to the rim? Second of all, when he develops a face-up game, can you guard him then? I'm not saying don't develop it at all, but I'm saying for right now, keep doing what got you here. Keep doing what works.
Man, I'm seeing too, man, that NFL scouts, man, talking about they interested in him. He need to play in the league.
Yeah, they talking about, another Jimmy Graham type situation.
Man, if that man, listen, hey, DJ, if basketball don't work for you, man, we got a line for you somewhere, man.
Football has made more basketball players than basketball has made football players, and we know this.
But see, my thing is that at least Jimmy Graham played football in college because he played 1 year at tight end at Miami. He was a starter at tight end. DJ Burrow would be coming to a situation where he didn't play football if he was doing it.
He's never played football.
So
NFL, man, first of all, it'd be an experiment.
Sometimes if you got that dog and you a dog, man, you just a dog, man. Because I know if the doctor X-ray my chest, a pit bull head gonna be sitting right there in the middle of it.
Hey, man, they gonna look at my chest and be like, man, that boy got part German Shepherd, part pit bull, part cane Corso.
Boy, gonna be a pit bull head right there in the chest. You swallowed a pit bull, Mr. Rochelle? No, I was born with it. I was born with it, dog. Don't worry about it. It ain't nothing wrong with it. I got that dog in me.
We're moving on to the next game. Alabama prevails over Clemson, 89-82. Kind of felt that way. I mean, Clemson Tide talking about, hey, shoot, this ain't just a football school. Forget what Nick Saban got going on. This is a basketball school now, sweetheart.
Man,
I feel like it's athletes spread all around college now, man. A lot of guys going to schools that they can play at.
Man, Alabama.
So in doing so, you getting a lot more schools that are traditionally known for other sports that now they making big splashes and big waves in basketball, man. It's about going where you can play. It ain't about going to the biggest name school. It's about going where you can play. Everybody can't go to Kentucky. Everybody can't go to North Carolina. Everybody can't go to Duke.
Facts.
That's just what it is. Everybody can't go be a Kansas Jayhawk, man. You get what I'm saying? You got to get in where you fit in. Look at Lance. Look at Lance Stevenson when he came out. Lance went to Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Lance could easily went to Georgetown, Seton Hall. He could have.
But you gotta understand, he's a New York guard. You know how the New York guards is. They can go to any college and make it do what it do.
Exactly, but it's at the same time it's Lance Stevenson. You get what I'm saying? When you saw that Lance was graduating, coming out of high school, everybody could have easily saw Lance stand close to home, going down to DC, going to Georgetown. You get what I'm saying? Or going to Seton Hall, or going, a school close to home. He went to Ohio, to Cincinnati, bro. And Cincinnati's not known as a basketball school or a football school. Cincinnati's just a good school.
Yeah.
So it's just, it's sometimes it's about going where you can play immediately, and not play soon, play immediately. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes, a lot of these guys forego these bigger name schools so they can go somewhere where they can actually play and develop.
Absolutely. Speaking of playing, UConn just beating down teams, 77 over Illinois, 77-52. UConn has just been so dominant up to this point. I just can you see anybody beating them? Let's as a matter of fact, let's pivot to the Final Four. We got Alabama, UConn, we got Purdue, NC State.
I'm gonna go.
Listen, that Purdue, NC State, you got Zach Edey versus DJ Burns down in that paint.
I'm gonna go with my sleeper still, man. I'm still gonna go with my sleeper. I'm going with North Carolina State over Purdue, and I'm gonna go with I got to go with UConn, man. Alabama lucky, man. They've been lucky this tournament. The luck has ran out, man. So I think it's over with for them. I'm gonna go North Carolina State and UConn in the championship.
Yeah,
I'm gonna stick to what I picked in the national championship. I said at the beginning of the brackets that Purdue versus UConn, and that UConn was gonna beat Purdue in the national championship, and I'm gonna stick with it.
I'm gonna ride with DJ Burns in championship. Let's go, DJ. Man, listen, I done rode your back all through the tournament. Before the tournament started, I told these people that you were gonna be y'all were gonna be the sleeper just because you, man. Let's keep riding, baby. Let's keep riding.
Sean, what you got? Who you got in the national championship?
I'm gonna go with Lance on his picks, man. I kind of agree with Lance on his picks, man. It's I think DJ Burns gonna be just too much, man. I think, like I said, it's one thing to have a guy that can score, face up to the basket, all that, do all the pretty stuff. But you really don't have too many gritty guys in the paint anymore, man. You don't have too many guys that go down there and do the dirty work.
Fellas,
he does the dirty work with finesse.
Not to interrupt y'all, but it's time to get swag with it now. It's time to get swag.
Okay.
So we got a real live brother that's waiting. Hold on. So, Shannon, he can hear right now. So, I love to do my introductions. You know what I'm saying? Hold on, let me get because he ain't just about to have more swag than me right
now. He got the hat on. He got the shades on.
About to put the shades on, the hat on.
Man, you know what I'm saying? Because when you're around Shannon Baker, like you can't just be around him half stepping. You just can't.
So he done made you and KP step y'all game, bro.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It just infectious. So our next guest coming to the run is a smooth dog. Smooth dog back in the day. He's a smooth brother. The godfather of swag. Let me tell you, if swag was in the encyclopedia, if you go to the encyclopedia, you're going to have Shannon Baker sitting there looking at you just like this. Just like this. Mr. Swag write everything. So, he will be inducted into the Lakeland High School Dreadnoughts Hall of Fame next week. Anybody know about Lakeland? That's a national powerhouse. For anybody that don't know what Lakeland Dreadnoughts and what that's all about, that's a powerhouse.
Listen.
So only dogs can be inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
What'd you say, Shaw? Hall of Fame.
You played real football in the state of Florida, man. Anywhere from that I-4 corridor south. You know about Lakeland. You know if you was in that conference, you wanted to win a championship, you had to go through Lakeland. You had to go through that stadium, man. You had to go through Dreadnought. So it's
He also played receiver at FSU, where he lettered in football and track, where he was the Metro Conference 100-meter champion, where he was the ACC All-Conference outdoor and track. He would then go on to be drafted by the Atlanta Falcons, and he'll go on to play for the Indianapolis Colts. And he'll go on to play for the Canadian Football League, where he learned the nickname Shannon Baker, touchdown maker. You know what I'm saying? Mr. Shake and Bake. You know what I'm saying? Like when I was coaching with him, I'm gonna bring you on, Coach Shake. I'm gonna bring you on in a minute. I just got to finish my introduction, god dog. It's like when he was, even when on the sideline this past season, and we was in trouble, and you just felt that swag through the headset, and I'd be like, God dang, come on, coach, baby. Like, I don't know why I'm talking like this, but you just got me just feeling so relaxed. I just don't know what to do with myself, coach, man. You know what I'm saying, baby? We're gonna be all right. We're gonna be all right. Let me stop playing. Without further ado, Shannon Baker, welcome to the show. Come on through, Shannon Baker. What's up with your boy?
Hey man, listen here, man. This is awesome,
Hey,
man.
you
Appreciate
see
it,
it,
Coach Kip.
man.
And I'm loving the swag, my brother.
Listen, coach,
I'm loving the shades. I'm loving the hat to the back. All of
Coach,
that.
I told you. I told you that this is a swag show.
For you, man. I bought the gold out for you.
Sean, he brought the gold chains out with the gold. He got the gold Rolex on. I think that's a Rolex. That's Rolex. You know what I'm saying? I said this is Swag Friday.
No doubt. Man, this is cool, man. Hey, listen, bro. I appreciate it, Coach Kip. I love the fact, man, and hello, man, to you guys, Lance and Sean, man. It's just cool, man, to be on a Friday evening with you guys, man. So I've admired you guys from afar. I know Lance and Sean. I know Coach Kilby talks about you guys at nauseam, man. Loves you guys a ton. And it's just cool to be on this platform, man. First of all, before we even get started, I think, and I've shared this with Coach Kilby, and I'll share this with you, Lance and Sean, as well. I think the platform and what you guys are providing for young people at this point, man, to be able to come on and be able to enhance their brand, get some interview skills, man, in order to try to, especially in this NIL world, which I've heard you guys have plenty of conversations about, and to have a platform like this, a professional platform, I mean, clean. I just think, man, it's a really cool opportunity, man. And so I'm just loving to be a part of this and come on tonight, man, and hang out with you guys, man, and talk a little bit of football, talk a little bit of life, talk about a little bit of community service and the whole deal, my man. Coach Kilby, you gonna make me go get my shades, baby.
Listen, I told you that, Shay. I told you that.
You gonna make me go get my shades, man.
It's Swag Friday. We got Mr. Swag writing everything on the show. I'm not gonna come out here half stepping now. I told you that. I told you. Shay, man, let's start. We're gonna start at Florida State.
Yes, sir.
What was Florida State like back in those times? I'm talking about, like, what was it like during them practices? What was the environment? What was the standard? Like, what was it like during that time?
Well, I'll tell you, man. I know before I even actually ended up coming to Florida State, and I'll tell you, the story is that when I decided to come to Florida State, man, it was because that we had about 15 other dudes that decided that we were all going to come to Florida State together. So I don't know if you guys remember back in the day. You guys are a little bit younger than I am.
Man, I remember, man.
Back in the day, they had something that they called the Super 24. And so that was really the top 24 dogs in Florida.
Man, my cousin Eric Terrell, that's my cousin. He came in with you.
The coldest cat ever alive. That's the coldest cat, and still to this day, that's the coldest cat I've ever laid eyes on to see this cat do what he do, man. So it was amazing. So that Super 24, I believe it was 15 of us decided to actually come to Florida State, man.
And I worked with Clyde Allen. He came in with you too,
Clyde, man.
Yeah.
Clyde was a beast in high school, man, back in Fort Lauderdale, man. Not Fort Lauderdale, I'm sorry, but Fort Myers. Fort Myers, Florida. So to answer your question, Kilby, man, it was competition every day. Every time you stepped on the field, you're talking about one of my roommates during my time at Florida State was Pascagoula the Fooler, man, Terrell Buckley, man. So every day it was major competition. You're talking about Corey Fuller. You're talking about Chris, Abraham. You know, you're talking about Corey Sawyer. I mean, it just, the list goes on and on and on, man, when you're talking about the guys that you had an opportunity to compete with. And so every day, so whether it was in the secondary, whether it's at the linebacker spot, it was just dogs all over the place, man. I can't even remember, but just the guys that I played with during my 4-year period, it's probably 8, 9, 10 of them in the Hall of Fame at Florida State University. And then I think 3 or 4 is in the NFL Hall of Fame. So it was major, man. And the competition was just crazy. And there's nothing like competition in your own backyard, man, to get you better every single day. So Saturdays were a piece of cake, to be honest with you, because you grinded. Your best competition was the competition you faced Monday through Friday, or Monday through Thursday.
Right.
Man, Coach. So talking about your time in high school leading up to Florida State, who was instrumental in your recruiting? Who led the way? What coach led the way for your recruiting?
Well, coming out in college, at that time the recruiting scene was a little bit different. They had to actually come up and court you.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't about getting on and putting on no film. They had to come and they had to do that leg work. They had to get on that plane and come out, take a look at you, talk with mom and them, talk with grandma, talk to your pastor. They really had to really put the work in. Oh my goodness, you just put
yes, sir.
Oh yeah, cool. That's a strapping young gentleman right there, boy.
Boy, I see you, boy. Boy, you lined up, man. You lined up. Ain't no straight hands on that right there.
Y'all don't see the part, though. Y'all don't see the part, baby.
The Adidas jacket. Ooh, okay.
Put all these pictures up from me.
No, don't worry about it, Coach. Say I told you what I had for you now.
But
Gumby. Oh man.
Yeah, man. That's one of the more track days right there, baby. I used to walk around the track, man. I ain't wear shoes, man. I used to just have my spikes over my shoulder, and it was just about business when I hit the track, baby.
Yeah.
But it was
there go them killers.
Y'all have to excuse me with my dogs, man.
Hey, Coach Say got them killers enough.
Yeah, my son got to get it. But anyway, Coach Eason, Doc Eason, man, which is a legend in himself, man. Old school rattler. Went off, played collegiate ball. Matter of fact, Coach Kilby actually coached at Leon at one point when he first started his coaching career. And so Coach
Tony is his first name, Tony. Y'all had Tony Eason too, didn't you?
Yes. Yeah. So Doc Eason, and so he, along with the one that was actually recruiting that area was Wally Burnham. Matter of fact, his son is still, I think he's his son right now. I forget his son's first name, but Burnham is an analyst for Florida State University right now. But he was a baby boy, man, when I was there. And Coach Burnham actually coached the linebackers at that time. But the Polk County was his area. And so obviously when the coach, receiver coach wanted you, man, he come down. And so it was very instrumental, man, in that recruiting part of my life, man. And it was, having an opportunity to meet with him and talk with him and chat it up, man, on a daily basis. It was awesome, man. But again, there was a lot of competition. My recruiting wars were between the schools that I visited was University of Florida, Florida State, Alabama, Ohio State, and Auburn. And so at that particular time, it's a funny story what you said, Lance, about E.T. When I was actually at the time when I went to visit Alabama, Coach Bowden's son, Tommy, was the receiver coach at Alabama at that time, back in the day. Mm-hmm. And so he promised me, he said, if you tell me, Shake, you coming right now, I'll call E.T. and tell him, because everybody recruited me and E.T. against each other. They were saying, okay, if you come, I'll tell him the story. And then what was so funny is that me and E.T. end up coming together and being roommates.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you this here. Anybody that would have took me over E.T. was a damn fool, coach. I'm just telling you, the dude was that cold-blooded. I wouldn't have even taken me over E.T. I'm just being real with you. He was that cold.
Yeah, man. Clyde had told me, he like, man, we used to see that man do some stuff, man. And he like, man, that man has some talent, man.
Yeah, man. He was cold-blooded, man. Yeah. Cold-blooded.
Yeah. And the Burnham, I think his son name is Will.
Okay.
Will Burnham.
I can't remember the first name, but I know his one of his sons too is in the media right now too. I think they brought back Osceola.
Yeah, he had a degree
or whatever.
Will played running back for might have been a walk-on, but he played running back some years ago too. At Florida. He was at Florida State too.
Okay. So yeah, man. So good people, man. Still stay in contact with them to this day, man. But and then I had, obviously when I was coming in, we had a couple of guys that were cold-blooded in their own right that was from my area. You had Dedrick Dodge, the Blade Runner. You know, you had Odell Higgins that was from Bartow. You know, Dedrick Dodge was from Mulberry that played for my dad in Mulberry. And then you had Shelton Thompson that was actually from Lakeland, Florida, played with Lake Gibson. That was early when Lake Gibson he was in that when Lake Gibson had just come out and started balling. And so those were guys that they kind of put on me to really kind of seal the deal, if you will, man. And so I tell you, man, not a day goes by, man, that I don't cherish it, man. And it was probably one of the best decisions I ever made in my life, man. Next to marrying my beautiful wife.
Yeah, man. But y'all had a class though, man. Oh yeah, y'all had a class come in. I think Charlie came in with y'all too.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. A lot of people don't realize that, Lance, is that Charlie actually graduated in '88. But because of the Prop 48 thing, he didn't actually come on. He just went to TCC.
And then so when he came on, they don't know. And Charlie was punting.
He punted for us our freshman year.
Yeah.
He punted for us.
I remember you telling me that.
Yeah, he punted for us our freshman year. Individuals don't realize that. And so we all came in together in '89. So he came in 89. And the only guys that did not redshirt that freshman class was Charlie, myself, John Davis, which currently right now is the Secretary of the Department of Lottery, Terrell Buckley, and Amp Lee. We were the only ones that did not redshirt. And so everybody else in our class redshirted. So they ended up winning the national championship after we left because they redshirted and we didn't.
Cause I think Eric went Prop 48 that year too.
Yeah, Eric ET was Prop 48. Yes, ET was Prop 48. Him and another guy.
So explain Prop 48 for people who don't understand what Prop 48 is.
Yeah. So and I don't know if it still works like this here, Coach Kilby. I don't know. I know that there is some sort of a form of it, but back then when we were coming, the Prop 48 was, which I felt like was difficult. Because technically you could come in. So it was two guys that a class could come in and be considered Prop 48. Those guys could come in, they live in the dorm, but they could not participate in any football activities. So you just imagine going to the candy store, you living in the dorms, your brothers are coming up every day talking about stories and things that were happening on the football field and all kind of fun and all this stuff, and you're just sitting there with no stories, nothing to share. And so it was really, really difficult. You couldn't go in team meetings. The only thing that you could do with your brother was at the dorm, if you happen to have a class on campus with them, or at the dining hall. You couldn't do nothing football related, man. And so it was that was tough, man.
In high school, whenever I was in high school, it was called gray shirt. That's what it's called, a gray shirt.
Okay.
So when we gray shirt is whenever we basically just we can't practice anything like that, but we're still on the team and we're just like, doing nothing but taking classes in academics.
Yeah, which is tough, man. And I understand the purpose of it initially, but at the same time, it gave a guy an opportunity. And if you could work your way up and do it, and ET was able to do that, and John Nance was my other brother that was from the Bartow area, played tight end, was able to do it. But it just was, man, it was tough. That first year was really, really tough, man. There were times where I would come back to the room and I just didn't even know what to say to ET, man. There was just times, man, he would just sit there and he would be very frustrated. And regardless of what I said, it just didn't matter. It was just like, man, Shake, hey, listen, man, you guys are going down there, you balling. That's supposed to be me. He wasn't like, hey, no man, not happy for me. But I mean, you're talking about, again, I still consider this dude one of the coldest jokers I ever laid my eyes on, man. Just sitting there, not able to be able to display his talent. So, man, so the Prop 48 thing, man, was, I don't know if it's I'm sure that it is kind of, with all this other stuff now, is a little bit different than what it is, but it was an opportunity to bring two extra guys on that did not meet all of the academic requirements initially right out of high school.
Well, Shake, before we go any further, I want to play a video for you. And I just want you to explain to me what the heck going on. You ready for this? I need to know what's going on. You ready?
What's up, baby?
And can turn it on. I think that's a smart way to do it.
Oh, this in the rain, baby.
Oh, look at Shake. Look at Shake. Look. He already know what's up. He like, man, this DB ain't got a chance.
All day for Weldon, and he
Ooh, boy.
1 yard line.
I don't even know why he grabbing for it, Coach. What he doing?
Touchdown, man.
Huh?
They supposed to give him that touchdown, baby.
I don't think they heard it. But when you took off from the line of scrimmage, all you heard, meow.
Shannon Baker has the
Well, and he gave you about what? About 8 to 10 yards of cushion. Just on his backpedaling, on his heels. He ain't had a chance. He ain't want to deal with you.
Yeah, it was difficult. That was you know, I used to talk to him. I told him, Coach, they wasn't too much press man back in that day with me, man. And so I ain't really have to perfect no releases because it wasn't coming up there, man. It wasn't coming up. But we had so many other guys, man, too, that were very, very talented, man. But that was a very memorable day, man, back then, man. And I think that was 92. I think that was that was 91.
Yeah,
that was 91.
That was Syracuse.
Y'all playing?
Yeah,
that was Syracuse.
Man, listen,
I'm tell you who else went off that game now. Quadri Ishmael went off that game down on us.
Yeah, man, listen.
I remember
Listen. Hey, at the time, man, I couldn't stand it, man, because I could listen. I'm sitting there watching. I'm about 7 years old, man. I'm watching this, man, and I couldn't stand him. I like, man, I couldn't stand it because he had got off.
Yeah, he went off.
And I ain't never liked him after that.
Yeah, he went off, man. He was a guy that I ended up actually having an opportunity in 97 and kind of ended up when I came into camp with New Orleans Saints. He was actually there in 97 when I actually came in New Orleans Saints, and he had some really good speed. He wasn't a natural receiver. He was just kind of a football player with some explosion, but he wasn't a natural receiver. But had an opportunity, man, to play a couple of years in the league, man, and have some success. Though.
And he's called him the missile.
The missile.
Yeah, the missile.
The missile,
the missile.
Yeah.
Now his brother was a dog now.
Yeah.
So then when they call it the Rocket too?
The Rocket,
that's the brother. That's the brother.
That's the brother. Okay, one was the missile, one was the Rocket.
Name and Quadri came behind him.
Okay.
Yeah, Quadri was behind him. Rocket was first.
Okay.
Yeah, Rocket was first, and then Quadri, his brother Ishmael, came behind him, a couple years behind him.
Well, Shay, let me read a quote that you had said back in those days. Let me read this. But
go away, you pull it out, Cole. You pull it up, like you got to take your glass off for this one.
I got to read this.
Take him off, man.
So it said, and I quote, these are Shaking Bates words. This was against North Carolina State, where you had came off the bench. You say, I came off the bench, and I saw North Carolina State cornerback Sebastian Savage. He kind of came up on me, and I figured he would try to jam me. It was an ego thing, but I wasn't going to let him jam me. I gave him a move and just ran right past him. And Charlie threw a perfect pass. That's just one of those things where,
man, listen,
ain't nothing you gonna be able to do, dog.
Well, that's what you call that's that dog in it, man.
Yeah. Hey, you know what was so funny that game? And the reason I came off the bench, if you guys remember, now there was a dog in himself, old Tamar Vano.
Yeah. Vano went to Leon.
Well, that game, I came, Coach we had so much competition. Let's go back to that competition thing. So me, you had Kez McCorvey, you had Omar Ellison, you had Kevin Knox, you had Matt Fryer, Kez McCorvey. I don't know if I said Kez McCorvey, but you got us. And so individuals are vying for playtime. Now, remember, at that point, it wasn't really wide open, just going 4 receivers like, it was really at one point you only had 2 receivers. So now you trying to find your way to get in. And so pregame, Coach thought I did a mutiny with the guys and had them not come out and do what we need to do. So Coach Eason walked up to me and said, "You ain't starting." And when he said that, what people don't realize, that was Tamar Vanover's first game he started, and he went off in that game. NC State was his first time starting as a receiver, and went off. And I think I got maybe 6 plays that game because Coach tried to teach me a lesson. 2 of them went for 50-yard bombs. And when I came to the sideline, Doc Eason rolled his eyes at me because he was mad because I'm trying to teach you a lesson in the time I go in the game, because tomorrow was kind of heavy. So tomorrow, somebody he tired. When he was tired, I ran in. Charlie looked out there and said, okay. And so that was so crazy, man. But that game was really, really crazy. And that's really one of the only guys that I can remember is Sebastian really trying to go play us man. Most teams never really tried to man us up back in those days, and they tried it, and so it was barbecue chicken, man.
Man, you couldn't. Y'all had too much out there, man.
Yeah. And then you got to think, man, Amp Lee was a beast in the backfield. You had Sean Jackson, and I mean, we had fullbacks that end up running seam routes. They'd be down the field just as further as you catching balls. So it was different. It was different, man. It was different.
Shake, speaking of bombs, I got another one for you now.
Yes, sir.
I need some commentary on this one now.
Okay.
Could be interesting.
Hold on, let's run it back. Hold on. Let me run it back. Here we go.
It's like a Hail Mary right.
That's that trio, bro.
Weldon gets chased out of there. Nice going to go all the way to the end zone. Could be interesting.
God dang.
Oh, yes, sir. I was hurt.
Yeah. I mean, they won't even let you celebrate. Back in them days, they just dog pile you. They just jump you in the end zone. They won't even let you celebrate.
What it was, man. I was actually hurt. I tell you what, man, that was one of those plays where I used to always kind of think that, and I remember on the sideline telling Casey, I said, what I want to do is everybody else, usually when you see plays like that, everybody go down and jump. So I said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stay on the ground. And so let everybody else jump. And so I'm just going to play the rebound and just be on my feet where I can react quick enough. So when it come off, wherever it is, I can get to it. And Casey looked and say, okay. Because Casey, man, was a dude. I mean, I don't know if people realize, but, Casey was actually the second run up to the Heisman himself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Casey was that dude right there from North Florida Christian. And he let it ride, man. And so we just say, hey, man, you guys go up. I'm just going to react, man. And so that's kind of what happened on that. It was, I'm just going to play reaction, man, on the ground and see if we can get to it. And I think to this day, if individuals probably did more of that, I think it would be something that would be a really good thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Play for the tip.
Yeah. So just a really cool experience, man. And so, that is one of those memorable plays, man, that people talk about a lot. And I'm glad to be able to be a part of that, man.
It was an old guy from a couple years ago. We used to sit and we talked football. Older gentleman, he had every Florida State game from 1975 until 2011.
Wow.
On VHS. And
that's how we had it.
He had every single game that Florida State played from 1975 to 2011 on VHS. He ended up passing away in 2011. That's why that stopped.
Okay.
But me and him used to sit and talk football all the time, man. And then when he passed away, his wife called me up and told me that she said, I want you to have his collection. He'll want you to have his collection.
Oh man.
So they gave it to me, and I turned them into a DVD. I turned every one of them into a DVD. And man, when I was moving out my house, when I was moving out of the house that I owned, getting ready to sell, I went out of town and people knew I was gone. And somebody broke into my house and stole all of them.
Oh no!
Stole all of them, but yeah.
Oh man, them classics, dog.
Yeah.
Wow.
Boy, you got somebody got a collection. Won't wait right now.
Yes, goodness, man. That's wow.
They stole my TV and everything. They got me, but
wow, they got you on that one, brother.
Yeah.
Oh, I hate to hear that, man. Good man.
Yeah. Man, and man, you just wasn't a player, man. Tell everybody how long you've been coaching and what got you into wanting to share the knowledge of the game with the
man. I tell you what, man. Good question, brother. I just felt like just kind of my whole life, man. People have poured into me, Lance. I'll be honest with you, so much. From I was born, just like I said, Lakeland, Florida, man, and there were just so many positive people in my life that I just kind of felt like God would have a problem with me if I didn't, because so many people poured into me, if I didn't pour into others. You know what I mean? And so my whole, younger life as an adult, outside of football, and even when I was playing football, was actually in that mentorship space, and just really trying to make sure that trying to depart wisdom to younger people or people in general, man, to where they can actually put some characteristics in place to be a better version of themselves. And so with that, what better way to do that, man, than coaching a game you love? You know what I mean? So it ain't like work. It's just something, man, that everybody can fall in love with. There's so many life lessons, man, that you can take from the gridiron or the basketball court or the tennis court or the swimming pool or track. And you can put that and fast forward that to life, man. So with that, as far as coaching high school football, my first time coaching high school football was oh shucks, I can't even remember the year it was, but it was when Casey Weldon came home and was named North Florida Christian's head coach. Yeah. Okay. And I can't remember exactly when that was, but when that was, he wanted me to come over that spring and help him install, because they were trying to do a lot of the stuff that we were doing at Florida State. So he wanted me to help him install. And so I coached that spring, but I did not come back that particular fall. And so it was more so just kind of helping kids, with, different camps and those kind of things with fundamentals. And then I really, man, once I, started having kids and got my kids into sports and all of that kind of stuff and track, it was more so focused on them, because you just didn't really have that time at that point to really do anything else. And so it was almost focused on the kids, and with them started coaching Little League ball at Chairs. So Pop Warner. So I became coaching out there. You might remember some of the names like Jalen Glaze right now at FAMU. He was like 7 years old, when we started coaching him. And so a lot of those guys now, Marco Scarica, Silky Smooth. So you had just a lot of kids that are currently right now on their back end of their college careers is when I started there at Chairs. And so coached those guys, and then had a great opportunity a couple of years ago where Coach McCray reached out to me. Great dude, man. Great dude. Reached out to me. And because I knew Coach McCray, because that's, Tamar Vanover's little brother. So I knew
I ain't know that, man.
I didn't know that either.
Man, I ain't know that.
You just dropped the gem.
Man, I ain't know that.
We all know Coach McCray personally in our own aspect.
Man, I did not
None
know
of us
that.
knew that.
I did not know that.
Oh, man. Hey, Hump, you got some explaining to do, man.
Yeah, man. I ain't
he
know
kept
that.
down the rap.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. I sure didn't know that.
Yeah. So that's his little brother. And so he reached out, man, and it was a great opportunity. Ended up because Coach Fuller had actually been asking me but I just didn't, with my job that I had at the time in executive leadership, just could not work that schedule out to be able to do it. But it worked out. I was able to come over, and when I went over, I was able to coach. He brought me on to coach quarterbacks. And that first year that I coached was prior to having, y'all excuse me, guys. Prior to having, it was a kid by the name of Lonnie. Lonnie was a first-time quarterback at Garvey that year. So I was over at Garvey. Obviously, the second year was blessed to be able to coach. I called him 1-5. That Christian Sales Jr. Little monster himself, man.
So, we coached him in 7-on-7 for a little bit.
Yeah.
Man, he is that guy. Yeah.
Great kid, man. Super kid. And so I was there for 3 years, and then I had an opportunity to coach when Coach Jones came in. He asked me to stay on board once he got the job, stayed there, and then was actually the offensive co-offensive coordinator along with Coach Tabby, and then after that year, obviously, moved on to Leon, man, which teamed up with Kilby and KP, man. I tell you, man, it's been awesome, brother.
Yes, sir.
But the reasoning for doing it is, again, like I said, that mentorship in the game of football and just sports in general is just too easy to pass up. And I just believe, man, that God blesses those that takes care of the youth. And so because of that, I just feel like, man, there's a ton of blessings coming my way. And I tell you what, I have more fun than the kids, man.
Hey, Coach, you don't know this, but I put in for the Godby head coaching job that year that Jones got it. I put in for that job. Yeah, I did. And me, myself, and Big Chris Sims, we talked about it. Coach, he like, Coach, man, if you think about if you get the job, you think about keeping in the staff. I told him I was gonna ask you to stay if I would have got the job.
Oh, wow,
did.
man.
You can ask Big Chris Sims that, man.
I appreciate that, brother.
I did.
Yeah, I still talk to Big Sims. I call him Big Sims. I talk Big Sims all the time, man. I just tell him, man, I'm a fan of his kid, man, and I just I don't give a darn what uniform kids wear, man. I want to see kids do well and maximize who they are, man.
And that's what it's about. And he's like, yeah, man, that'll be a good choice. Like, my son thinks really highly of Coach Baker. That's what he told him. So I definitely would. I know you ain't know that, but me and Sims had some talks about that. If I got the job, I put in for that Leon job. I didn't know McGriff put in for it either. Wow. And then he got it. He got it, and then I left Florida High. We all left Florida High and went with Coach McGriff to Leon.
Okay. Man.
Yeah, it's a funny story about that too, Coach Shay. I remember Lance, you remember you had went to the mountains.
Yeah, I went to the
Tennessee.
mountains.
This is whenever we were still at Florida High. And then our other brother, Sam McGrew, he had sent me a text and the clips on it. So on that Coach McGriff had accepted the job to Leon. And we were like, man, McGriff ain't tell us nothing about him trying to was even interested at Leon. So I'm sitting here trying to call Lance in the mountains, but I'm not getting, he don't got no reception in the mountains, so I can't get a hold of him.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, and then, he finally had, asked us to join him over there at Leon, but that's how it all came about. Like, we didn't even know McGriff was even interested in the coaching because he was an athletic director at that time.
Yeah. Right. That's what I remember, because I remember hearing that. I was like,
he didn't say a single word about it.
Yeah. That's, man, I tell you, it's funny, man, how things, how things work and how at God's speed on how things happen, man. But I can tell you this, if it's meant to happen, though, Brother Lance, it's gonna happen, my man. Definitely keep pressing, brother.
Now, Coach Shay, we got to get into it now.
What's up, big dog?
We had
wait,
Leon High School.
Before you get into it, I want to go back because I was having some technical difficulties when we was having that trip down.
I saw you keep. I thought I was gonna be the one falling off and coming back on and falling off and coming back on.
Nah, man, I'm having some technical difficulties right now, man.
With the producer, man.
But we get this number.
I see you, Battles. I see you,
the dogs that you played with at Florida State. How did you end up with the number one?
Listen.
That's a dang good question now.
Well,
listen, we all know, before you get to explaining this, we all know, coming from that era of how football was played, if you were number one, you were him. You were Himothy, you were that guy, you were that dude. So explain to the people out there, in social media land, how you came out with that number.
Well, I wore number one, and I tell you, when I started wearing number one in Little League, I used to wear number 10. Right? So in Little League, I wore number 10. My first number ever that I ever had when I first started playing Little League ball was number 9. So I was number 9. I started playing ball at 7 years old, played the Lakeland Patriots. That was 1 year. But I cried all the time. My mama said, "You ain't ready." So I was playing safety in the 3-point stance. I was back at safety in the 3-point stance. Yeah, that's what I was doing. Closing my eyes, running up on people, that kind of stuff. So you know what I'm saying? No, you ain't playing. So when I came back as a Lakeland Lumberjack. And the Lakeland Lumberjacks played all of the games right there at Bryant Stadium where the Dreadnoughts played. So that's where that love started. Okay, that's what you got to be, right? But anyway, that number one, man, is my cousin, Renard Hayes, used to be a kicker at Lakeland in 84, 5 or whatever, and he wore number one. And so wanted to be kind of like cuz or whatever. So when I got up, you know, because in high school, you know, I mean, not in high school, but I'm saying in junior high, I wore 12. And then, 10. And then once I got to high school, my high school year, my first year in the 10th grade, I was number 3 because they didn't have a number 1. I actually went to Kathleen High School my sophomore year.
And that's where Ray Lewis went, wasn't it?
Absolutely. That's because my grandmother used to raise and bring all that. So I know Baby Ray very well, right? So I was at number 3. And so when I went over, I wanted that number 1, man, and I was just like, we got to do that. And so once I did my thing at, you know, obviously at Lakeland and establishing myself with the number 1, and when Coach Doc Easton came to get me at Florida State, I was just like, Coach, you know, I got to wear that number 1. He's like, he said, if you do what you did at Lakeland, you ain't no problem with you wearing number 1. So again, man, it was that, but we knew that the expectation that you got to come, you number 1 just came to stand on the sideline, just, you know, collected, you know, clipboard. You got to go out,
juice drinker,
man.
That
funny thing you say about that number with the number, man. When I was in Little League, man, my first number was number 40. I was running back with number 40, but I wanted number 7 because of Eric. I always wanted number 7 because that's what Eric wore. Then my uncle wore number 7 too, and then I remember reading about they did a Tallahassee Democrat did a write up in the Tallahassee Democrat about my uncle and Eric.
Okay.
And they was talking about that number 7. That number 7 must be a family. That's what they're saying in the article. It must be a family. So now I'm thinking I got to have 7.
Yeah, got it.
They gave me 40. So wow. My first year playing. So my uncle come back. He say, like, boy, what number you got? I like, I got 40. He like 40. He's like 40. He's like, we wear 7. I tell you what, this will never happen again. This will never happen again. I say, I'm gonna play so good. Next year, they're gonna come to me first to see what number I want.
Wow.
That's what I told them. And then they did that. The next year, I was the first one to get to pick a number. I didn't get 7. I say, by that time, I'm thinking, man, listen, I'm gonna make a number for myself. So I chose 5, and I've been wearing 5, and now my son wearing 5. So, so by that time,
you created your own legacy.
I said it. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You remember the guy real quick? You remember the guy? What was his name that came out in 1990? He came out after me. He was a highly touted receiver as well. Came out after me and ET. He was in the class of 9. I think it was Andre that went to Georgia.
Well,
no,
Andre Ware was the quarterback. Andre Ware was the quarterback.
His name it was Andre, but he played receiver.
He went to Georgia.
He went to Georgia. He ended up going to Georgia wearing number 1. He went to Georgia. He wore number 1. But anyway, he wanted to come to Florida State. But he wanted to come to Florida State. He wanted number 1.
Yeah.
And then Coach Easton said, "Man, you must be crazy. You think we finna take number 1 from?" Yeah. So that's why he ended up going to Georgia. And he had a pretty good career too there.
Yeah.
I think Andre, he was number 1. If you guys look it up in 90, it was the year, it was that next year. I think he came out of the class of 90, either 90 or 91. He was number 1.
Andre. Let me think. I got to think.
So, but yeah, ended up having a pretty good career and had a solid pro career too. He ended up having I think he played with Pittsburgh. Yeah, he ended up playing with Pittsburgh. He went to Georgia.
It ain't not Andre Wise, where?
No. Wadsworth was at Florida State.
Yeah, that's why I say he went Andre Ross, bro.
So
he was
Dre,
at Florida State.
He played receiver.
Okay.
He played receiver at Georgia. But yeah, so that was a really cool deal, man. And so yeah, winning that number one, man, it was definitely a legacy, and I wanted to make sure that I wore that and did that thing proud, man. And so it was, but I know, but definitely when you came out with that number one, though, like my man was saying, you had a target on your back. Now you wearing that number one, you had to come with it now for real.
Speaking of number one, we got go ahead, Lance. You found something?
Andre Booker.
There you go.
Yeah.
No. Booker went to Sarasota.
He went to Georgia though.
So okay, that's him. That's him then. Yeah. Was he number one?
Yeah, he won.
Yeah,
hold on, they won. Coach B over there, Gob. He said Andre Hastings.
Hastings, that's who it is.
Okay. Shout out to Coach B, man. Shout out to Coach B. Andre Hastings.
Yeah, okay.
I
remember Andre Hastings too, though. I remember him too. Yeah.
Now, because Booker was from Sarasota.
Okay.
And I
remember Andre Hastings too.
Sarasota.
Yeah.
He came out with my class. I forget where he went. He was from the Sarasota area, and I forget where he went to school, but he was pretty nice down there too.
Yeah, I remember.
But the Super 24, the Super 24 receivers, when I came out, like I was telling you about that Super 24 was me, E.T., Matt Fryer, and Horace Copeland. Remember that went to Miami?
Yeah, y'all got three of them.
We got three of them. Three of them came to Florida State, and Horace Copeland went to Miami.
Yeah, I remember Andre Hastings though. I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember him too. Yeah,
he wanted number one, man. And Coach Easton say, "Well, I guess you're gonna have to go to Georgia then."
Yeah.
Speaking of number one, we got number one more in action. Cool. We got one more clip for you. Number one in action. Let me. I need some commentary.
Talk to me.
Hold on. Got that split back look.
He is back in.
Yes, sir.
Casey Weldon is back. Baker, touchdown.
And
Hydro playing the coach. Now it rained so bad before that game.
Hey,
It rained so bad before that game, man.
And he slid about 6 or 7 foot.
Yeah, man, and that hydroplane, man, that was definitely a memorable game. It rained so bad before that game that the field was actually soaked. But I think the year before that they had put those pumps in the field, and all of the the good work and all of that money they put in there. And but it was a really cool game, man, because before each one of myself and Kevin Knox, Coach had actually benched us because we had been working on this new middle screen, this tunnel screen. I dropped one and he dropped one, the same exact route. And Coach put out behind on the bench because you could miss study hall, you could be late to breakfast, anything could get you benched because it was just that kind of competition, right?
Yeah.
So you drop a ball, you may not never get back in the game. And so we dropped one. The greatest thing that could have happened to me is he came behind me and dropped one too. So when he dropped here, Coach he said, "Get back in there." and man, and then I went to town on him, man. And so those other catches, that other 50-yard bomb and that touchdown actually came after the drop tunnel screen because it was so wide open. You look at it, you look at where you get ready to go, that took your eyes off of the ball, and man, ball hit the ground, man. And it was good, but yeah, that was a memorable game too, man.
Yeah, man, y'all, but like you said, the competition, man. Because I done looked up y'all class coming out before, like years ago and stuff, man. Y'all had a great class, man.
Yeah,
y'all had a great class.
They had the number 2 class my year when we came out, and then I think they had the number 1 class in 1990.
Yeah,
so they came out, and then in 1990. Shoot, they had even more dogs. And then 91 had dogs too, because you had 91 that had Derrick Brooks. You had 90 had each class had a Hall of Fame or several.
Yeah.
It was just crazy, man. So there was a lot of guys, man, that were just it just, man, just really turned it. And I think it really happened with everybody was enamored. The same way that people are crazy about Prime right now, it was the same way back then, man. He just had a gravitas, man, that just made people want to be a part of that. I'll be honest with you guys. I didn't even really watch college football. I watched pro football and high school football until I got in the 10th grade. I didn't even have a college team that I followed.
Yeah.
And when I became in the 10th grade is when I got my first letter from Florida State. And that's when I was like, oh, wow. That was my first time thinking about, oh, you go to school and go do this. That was really the first time. And then started going to camps. And it was like, and Coach Eason told me this story, and I share this with you. Coach Eason said it was a summer camp. Me and ET was at the same camp. Coach Eason said when he saw me in the back of the line dancing, he knew he was going to offer me before I even had ran any route or did anything. He said he saw me dancing in the back of the line.
So you had the moves then.
Had the moves. He said gotta have it.
Oh, he got a little whip to him.
Got a little, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, Coach Kevin, what we've been talking about, the little twitch. We did
he got a little twitch to him. Okay.
So you can see it, he got it, or you don't, right? And so he told me that he used to always say that story all the time, man. That listen, I knew I was gonna offer you, man, when I saw you in the back of that line dancing back in whatever. I was in high school, man. So I always thought that was funny.
So, Coach, the late great Bobby Bowden.
Yes, sir.
How influential was he for you in his recruitment? How influential was he in your time at Florida State? Before you answer that, I got a little short clip for you that you had an interview on that you was talking about Bobby Bowden.
Oh, Coach, you got some, man. You got a lot of, man.
I think we understood that. I mean, definitely for me, coming from Lakeland, Florida, having an opportunity to come up and play for Coach Bowden for 4 years, I understood a long time it was just kind of value-based guy. This is the way that it was going to be.
Yeah. I think, man, I'm glad you teed that clip up, man, because that's when I think of Coach Bowden, Coach Kilby, that's really what I think about, man. Just a standard, values, just kind of ran things a little bit different. He came from a different era, you know, you're talking about that Bear Bryant era. And so there are a lot of things that I think that we think about now that probably were, quote unquote, you know, not fair, but individuals were raised in the times that they're raised in. And so that's the only thing that you can do is you do kind of what you know. I've never felt, you know, in dealing with Coach, I felt like he's always treated me fair. I felt like he was always nice to me. I feel like he challenged me as a football player. I think he challenged me and my brothers as men, and wanting us to remember to in meetings, if we were in a meeting an hour, probably in that hour meeting, 40 minutes were about life and conduct and being a quality person, more so than it was about X's and O's. So we spent time in those areas, man, of development that was more than just football player. I mean, being a football player, because, you know, if he recruited you, he expected you to do that, right? He wanted to be able to try to help you accomplish some other things in life, man. So I'm so glad to be able to say that I played for a legend, that I was, you know, that I received some of my tutorials from a legend, and just to be a part of that, man. I think, you know, sometimes everybody don't get to say that, and so it was very monumental. I tell you, sometimes too, Kilby, Lance, it almost felt like it was unreal. You know what I mean? You know how you meet a star and you kind of starstruck? So sometimes being around him like that, one-on-one, you kind of got starstruck, but not that he was like that. It was just that you was like, man, I'm with greatness. You know what I mean? And that's how I felt a lot of times. I remember one time I was caught on the elevator with him, man, and I was just like, it's just me and him. I'm just like, and he always just say, "What's up, buddy?" I'm just like, "Good, coach." Just good, you know. So I ain't never lost a word. It really wasn't no conversation, man, because, you know, you were always in awe of him, man. And because how he handled himself, he carried himself, man, with dignity. Carried himself, man, that something that you would want to emulate. So I'm glad to be able to say, man, that I played definitely for a legend. and was mentored by a legend. But again, it was, man, a lot of those guys on that staff, man, were just as impactful in my life. You know, Doc Eason. I remember one of the things Doc Eason used to talk to me all the time about, man. He would always say, Shay, do you want to be able, once your playing days are over, do you want to be able to go in the mall and get one tie, or you want to be able to go in the mall and buy the whole rack?
I remember that
he was
quote
saying
from
is,
you.
do you want to put yourself in there and try to get put yourself in a chain where you got to be in there making choices and life decisions about just buying a tie that you could just put on in order, or you want to be able to have options? And that's basically what he was saying.
Right.
And so that had always stuck with me, man. And I share that even with my kids, man. You want to be able to you want to be a quality person that people believe in, that gives you an opportunity for options. You don't want to just have a this or that, right? People with this or that a lot of time are very frustrated and pissed off at life sometimes because they don't have options. And so when you have options, I think you're a more pleasant person. And so there was some of those kind of like little nuggets, man, I got from being up there on Florida State campus, man, with some of those guys.
Yeah, man. Clyde tell me a lot of stories that y'all, man, about y'all, man. Back
My goodness,
day,
boy,
man.
we had some times up there in Burt Reynolds, boy. Some I can't divulge because you know, kill me. So I'm just gonna tell you.
Okay, hey, fair enough.
I can't lose it all. All I would say, they say what my guys used to say, Todd McIntosh, God bless his soul, you know, one of my 89 buddies, Todd McIntosh, man, that was an awesome player. He was the comedian of our class. And he would always say, when you ask him something about something that happened, he say, hey man, it'll be in the book. You're gonna have to wait for the book to come out, man. So that's what I'm gonna talk to you and Lance about. Hey man, y'all see that, man? I may be dead to go. It'll be in the book, man.
It'll be in the book.
Yeah, man. Sometimes I call him. I say, if he forget his glass, I like, boy, you looking like 93 Clyde. That's what
my daughter, you know, I have 3 kids, and my oldest is Shannon Baker. She actually went to Florida State University, and my twins are Isaiah and Iman Baker, and they went to Cobb. And when Clyde was there, man, my daughter loved Clyde Allen. Mr. Allen, so she would come home all the time talking about him, man. Mr. Allen. Dad, he knows you. Y'all went to school together and all that kind of stuff, man. But yeah, Clyde has always been a stand-up guy. And you know, when Clyde came out of school, Clyde was a parade All-American on the field, but he was a parade All-American in classroom too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Clyde, man, was, when you're talking about scholar, man, Clyde was the top of the list. Him, Derek Brooks, them guys, man, were scholars in the classroom as well, man. So just super dudes, man. Super dudes.
So, what was Tallahassee like, you know, in your times you was at Florida State? What was a hangout spot? What was going on in Tallahassee at that time?
Well, I'm going to tell you this here. Now, I can't tell you this here. The moon was popping, baby.
Hey, listen, I was just finna say the moon. What Clyde had talked about the moon. Boy, the moon
was popping. Now I don't know what the moon doing now, but I know when I was there, the moon was the spot. You had to get to the moon. So the moon, let me see. Late Night Library.
I heard a lot about Late Night Library. Faces. I heard a lot about it.
You heard about Faces? Yeah, man. Faces was off the chain, man. Faces was off the chain. So you had Faces, the moon, Late Night Library, and now every now and then trying to create, trying to get more into the culture, right? You find yourself down on Tennessee Street at Bullwinkle. Yeah. Now I know people say, well, what y'all doing at Bullwinkle? Well, you know, we at Florida State. We want to go up and hang out too, man, because we find ourselves at Bullwinkle, man, and just sitting around just looking. You know, laughing at other folks dance. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But that's what we did, man. But I tell you, man, we had some fun time. Now there was a lot too, Kip, at that time, a lot of house parties then. I don't know if you guys heard about the Kappa House. The Kappa House used to be jumping back in those days too, before it got shut down, I believe, for some illegal type foolishness going on over there. But before that, man, their house parties, the Down Under at Florida State University. There just was a lot of different places, man, that you could hang out and have fun. No cell phones, none of all of this stuff, no stalking, none of that. And you won't worry about nobody getting shot.
That's
you know what I
thing,
mean?
Man. Yes,
you won't worry about nobody, that kind of stuff, man. So great times. I'm telling you, man, I wouldn't change for the world, Coach Gilbert, man, Lance. It was a phenomenal time. And they used to always say too, when the one thing that I remember during my recruiting piece is Ron Zook was the one that recruited me. He was at you guys may remember Ron Zook. Ron Zook was the defensive back coach.
Yeah.
No, he was at Ohio State when I was coming out.
Okay.
So he was at. I'm giving y'all some nuggets. And I'm giving y'all some information tonight.
Yeah.
So Ron Zook was the defensive back coach at Ohio State, and he always told me, he said, Shannon, he recruited me so hard. If I wasn't a mama's boy, like I would have. Ohio State was it was like, wow, man, I could see myself there because the recruiting visit was off the chain. Matter of fact, me and Clyde took our visit together at Ohio State.
When I told him that, he told me that 2 days ago that y'all took the Ohio State visit together.
Clyde had a cousin or something that went to Ohio State, or somebody was from his school that was playing receiver. I believe something like that Clyde knew. But anyway, we were out there, and it was so cold over Lance, man. It was just man, I don't know if I can live up in this. I'm
telling you.
Because I had never experienced nothing like that. And that was actually my first time flying. And I was so scared and nervous that Coach Zook came to Florida and flew with me to Ohio State.
Man, I was scared my first time flying too, man. I see people going to sleep. I'm like, man, I can't go to sleep.
You hear everything, so everything you hear on the plane, the luggage being put on, everything is freaking you out.
I said, man, I can't go to sleep, man. No, sir, not a day like that. I can't, man.
Yeah, man, it was crazy. But the one thing he did say is, man, that the decision you make on where you go to school, there's only a couple of decisions that you make in life that are they're always with you. Like, again, you think about it, man. I'm 53 and I'm here talking to you guys right now about an experience when I was 18.
Mm-hmm.
That is probably the most, not probably, the most, the biggest decision that I've really ever made when you think about it. Because if I'm not in this area, I don't meet my beautiful wife, Marsha. You see what I'm saying? So all of those things, you know what I'm saying? It's all of that stuff, man, just matters. So, man, just being there, and I took that to heart, and just always wanted to be able to know that I had made the appropriate decision. So and because Florida State was doing so well at the time, it was really easy, to be honest with you. It ain't like, I went on the limb and said, okay, team lose, and I'm going to go and, change this and change that. It was like, Jokers was kicking it, Jokers was winning. And then you got 15 of your other brothers that Super 24. They say, we going, okay, let's go, man. We all going together. So it's really easy when you think about it. Because, man, we were so loaded on the people that were coming, man. So, but yeah, kid, there's a lot of stuff going on, man, in tea time. But all of, like, everything that I've seen in Tallahassee now, I didn't even know existed when I was in school. Coon Bottom, like, going out, all that kind of, I didn't even know, because in that bubble, you didn't even really know all that stuff existed. Quincy, I had never even went to Quincy when I was just like, ain't no need to go that far. If it was in the circle, it was Tallahassee Mall, Governor Square Mall, Moon, Florida State campus, and we had to get to the set now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
People are crazy with on crutches from 2 days, ice on your leg. You had to get to that set. Yes, sir. You had to get to that set. carrying luggage and everything else. We'll get that, sir. We'll get that, man. We got you. All that, man. So it's a beautiful thing, man. They said, listen, you come to Tallahassee to play football at Florida State, find your wife at FAM. And that's what I did.
Well, man, Florida State, man, they've been a staple in college football forever, man. So man, that the school with a lot of history, man, with a lot of history.
Yes, sir.
Man, and so man, I tell you, I talk to Clyde about it, man, all the time, and me and him go back with stories, football stories all the time, and man, and I tell him, man, I was just blessed to be able to play the game of football, man,
right?
Because the game take you places that you will never go without it. Sometimes some people they take you, and it's not just about football; it's about the game of football. It teaches life lessons also, man, and that's what a lot of people don't get, that most of everything you learn playing football you can apply to life.
That's right.
And then with the brotherhood of the guys you go to war with every Saturday, every Friday, or whatever, with Sunday when you play, man, the brotherhood and the bonds you form is lifelong friends, man, and
that's right.
Turn to family, man. So the game of football is a great game, man, and I'm glad that I was blessed to play it and that I found it. So
yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you, man, Lance. I don't even see, Kilby, I don't see how people do not play sports. I just don't see how you can not play sports, or I just don't see how you can play it. I mean, but I know that there are other extracurricular activities that you can get into.
Right.
But sports is a strain. And I'm not saying music and musicians and all those kind of things are not a strain as well, because I think you got to strain in order to be better in whatever it is that you're doing. If you don't strain, you're not going to eventually become as better as best as you can be. But I just think the sports, man, just give you, it is so many hardships and opportunities for resiliency to just kind of overcome that. You got to get better. You don't have a choice. It's either get better or die. It's sink or swim. And so I just think that's what sports do for you, man. And I just think usually when you talk about Fortune 500 companies and things like that, they go after former athletes, man, because they know they know they ain't gonna quit. That's what they go after, man. They want to see that resume, man, got any kind of sports where you've kind of gone through that gauntlet and you've they know you've gone through and you've decided that I'm gonna come out on the other side. I ain't devil, you ain't taking me out.
Yeah, and they know you got that competitive spirit in you, man. You play, but you got that competitor in you. So
that's right.
They know. Right. So yeah,
and that's what's so good, man. And I think, man, for any young person out there, man, maybe watching this podcast at this point, that's the thing that I would really want to really say to Lance and Kilby, is that if you're out there, young people, make sure don't just give up so soon, or because things get tough, or because you didn't win the job initially. At some point, something has to be worth fighting for, because again, once you get in the real world, people ain't giving it up like that. It ain't just, you're gonna have to fight and claw and scratch for opportunities, man. And so if you kind of get used to just saying, it was a little tough, I'm gonna sit this one out, you'll be sitting things out in life, man, all the time, man. And at some point, when I talked about that earlier, when Coach Easton told me, you want to be able to go in there and get that one time, or you want options. And so at some point, you're going to be sitting in a situation where you're frustrated because you just don't have many options, because you gave up so often that you don't really know how to work in the grit. You don't know how to work in the grit. You don't know how to deal with adversity, man. And so that would be my message, to say, man, listen, gut it out, be okay with being uncomfortable, and work through it, man. This too will pass, man. You got to work through the gauntlet, man. You got to work through the gauntlet.
So, hey, Coach, let's dive a little bit into high school, and
Okay.
we all know coming off a successful season at Leon, going 6-4 after having a 1-9 season and everything that brought about. Just go into detail as far as the mindset of the team during that time. Starting off 5-0, and just what's the expectation going into the new year with spring just around the corner.
Yeah, you know what, Coach Kirby, the first thing I would say is that, and I know I said this early on, but I just want to say this again, man. Because there are a lot of people that may not know. I before I came to Leon, Coach McGriff spoke very highly of you, and I'm not just blowing smoke. He spoke very highly of you, and I was like, okay, I meet good people all the time, you know what I mean? And so it was like, but I think he undersold the importance of what you bring and how sharp you are, what your analysis and the X's and O's and how you break down situations and understand the game and see the game, man. And so, like I said, you one of them young minds, man, that I ain't gonna be shocked when you running your own shows. Trust me, that's around the corner. It ain't a long time.
Well, I appreciate that, Coach.
So I'm just saying that. Let me put that out there first. The other part is, I think when I actually came over to Leon, man, I did see a little bit of what kids seemed like they didn't necessarily believe that they could do it initially, and then once we kind of caught fire, they could say, okay, what the coach is saying, it is working. We are having some success, especially when we were able to get in some dog fights and then come out on the other end. I think individuals like, okay, they start really feeling good about themselves, especially if he had certain kids that probably didn't have that kind of confidence prior to us starting to have that success, started to have success, that they probably and saw that we were leaning on them the way that probably nobody had probably leaned on them before.
Absolutely.
So they changed. And so when they changed, they brought some guys along with them that they didn't believe themselves. And then now come on board. And so now you have to have enough people to just start to believe. And they came on board, man. And so it was a beautiful thing to see that and come to practice. And even to know that there were still times for us to really get better. Just the fact that guys were not quitting and guys just continued to believe that we can actually get it done. Even when we got punched in the mouth, Coach, and me and you have had nightmares of the punch in the mouth we talking about. I ain't even going to call their name. But we got punched in the mouth, nose, ribs, gut, the whole nine.
The whole nine.
But I do believe in anything, there are life lessons and everything. And so even in that, individuals went to the drawing board and say, how do we kind of bounce back from that? And even though after that, we fell off, and I think we lost 3 in a row.
We lost 4 in a row.
4 in a row.
Yeah.
But leading up to that game.
I can't cuss on this. I can't cuss. But so 4 in a row. And then to still be that last game of the season, still be standing right there, man, ready to fight, ready to punch because of the success early. Just felt like we believe. I never saw anybody actually just quit. I saw people get beat, one-on-one matchup get beat, but I never saw anybody quit. And I think that what was encouraging to me. That was the thing that was encouraging to me. We tried to mix it up. We tried to be as diversified as we could. We tried to utilize our brain trust, Coach Kilby, you, Coach KP, Coach McKinney, and we tried to develop a game plan every week that we thought gave us an opportunity to be successful. Sometimes we were, sometimes we were not. But it was good that the guys believed in us. I never really saw a joker just say, man, I ain't listening to them no more. I never felt that way. And that was really cool, man. And so I just think, so now kind of going into this spring, we know, Coach Kilby, we talk about this every day, brother, is that we know that we have some holes to fill. And some of those holes are going to be an uphill climb. But with a Coach Kilby, a Coach KP, a Coach McKinney, and myself on the offensive side, of the ball, I think we'll have an opportunity to figure it out and be able to put the best product on the field when that time comes. So that's kind of what I think about the upside to going into this year, man. But last year was amazing, and I'm looking forward to it. And when you can go into it with guys that you believe in, partners and brothers that you can be on the headset. Lance, I don't know if Coach told you, but man, we be on the headset. Everybody else be going crazy on the defense. Just like me and Coach Kill, we be talking on the phone. We talking on the sideline. I'm talking about a minute and 30 seconds left. We sound just like this here.
Yeah.
I heard
well, that's one thing I was proud of.
Time, Coach. And he wasn't crunk at me. He went to my coach. What the hell you know? He was crunk, and Coach McGriff was in the headset, and he couldn't get the call. Coach Kilby is the one trying to get all the signals. Couldn't hear. So man, I heard him go on one time, and that was it.
Man, and to back what you said too, man, about Coach Kilby, man. I had a chance to work with him.
Coach K, just not to cut you off, Lance, but this Lance, he gave me my first shot at being an OC at Florida High. He the one that gave me my first shot, man.
So Coach Lance, you were the JV coach?
I was a middle school head coach at Florida High. Yeah.
Okay,
I had
8th grade.
I had came from Franklin. I was the running backs coach at Franklin High School.
Okay.
And I came from Franklin to Florida High.
Okay.
To be the middle school head coach, and then I brought on Coach Kilby Griffin. That was Sean. That was here with us. Sam McGrew and Jamie Robertson.
Okay.
Yeah. So me and Jamie, we had coach. Well, I was the running backs coach at Franklin for the years I was there. Jamie was the DB coach because he played at Florida State too. He was a starting safety at Florida State. He was a DB coach at Franklin, and then the next year he took over as the defensive coordinator. And then when I had a chance to they let me pick my staff, and Kilby had told me and Kilby talked football all the time.
Oh yeah.
And before that, so and then he always told me he wanted to get into coaching. So when I had a chance at him, and I reached out, I called him and told him let's go. So
yeah, man,
and he was ready.
Yeah, man. That joke break down. That joke be we watching film. That joke be seeing stuff on. I said, Coach, break this thing.
And then we started a 7-on-7 together. Me, him, and Sam.
Oh, okay. So you guys started that. Okay.
Yeah.
USA Elite. We started that.
So we did. So I got to work with him a lot, man.
So y'all dogs.
Real
dogs together. Yeah, man. That's cool.
Oh yeah, I know Lance about since I was 20.
Yeah. Long time ago,
something like that.
Yeah, man. It's nothing like it, man. Because if you could get through life and you could still have guys that you still could call your ride or die, your dog, man. That's important, man. So you guys keep that brotherhood. Keep loving on each other, man, because it is at some point as you climb that ladder, man, it's just so important, man. Those relationships matter, man.
Oh yeah.
They matter big time.
Oh
yeah.
And Coach, going back to us over the headsets. One of my proudest things I like to say is, even at Mosley when we're on the 5-yard line with a minute and a half and one timeout. On that offensive headset, me and you, it was like me and you talking like we talking right now between me and you, KP and McKinney. There was no panic, Lance. We wasn't panicking or nothing. We talking just like we were talking just right now. How we gonna get down this field in a minute and a half with one time out? In a minute and a half, one time out. JP2 game. We was there. It was 2nd and 25. We got less than a minute. No timeouts left. We talking to each other just like we talking right now. That's just what the vibe we on over there.
And man, Coach, he talks about, man, when I talk about him, man, he talk about you all the time too, man. He think highly of you too, man. So
cool, man.
He definitely does, man. So
cool stuff, man. That's good stuff.
So Coach, I know that you have. I know with the induction to the Lakeland Hall of Fame, and then next week you have your celebrity bartending event. Go into a little bit about that, a little detail.
Yeah, I think the thanks for bringing that up too, Coach Kelby. Is man, I'm really excited about a couple of weeks ago, man. Wild Bill Castle, man, the legendary Coach Castle, man, there in Lakeland, Florida. He called me up and he was like, he said, Shannon, I was like, what's up, Coach? He was like, hey, I want to share something with you. I was like, well, what's up, Coach? Because he called me out of the blue. I don't talk to Coach like that all the time. So he was just like, hey, you're going to be inducted to the Dreadnought Hall of Fame. And I was like, what, Coach? He was like, yeah. And the first thing he did, he said, I apologize. He said, I apologize.
Oh, they go them killers.
He said, I apologize because you should have been in there. And I was like, man, Coach, don't worry about it, man. So we just started chit-chatting and talking, man, and just kind of talking about, he said that it was one of the first times, man, where it had been a unanimous decision, man. And I was like, wow, man, that was really cool, man. So just to, to be a part of an event like that, and it's going to be really cool and special because it's going to happen at the time the guys are getting their rings for this past championship that they just got. So they're going to kind of do the ring ceremony and the induction at the same time, man. And so it's going to be a really cool experience, man. I get to share that experience, man, with my wife and my children and my aunt, uncle, and cousins that they're more like my sisters. And I hate that my mom passed around, in May of last year, and hate that she can't be a part of it. But I know she'll be looking down and knowing that kind of job well done. So I think it's always good, man, to be there. So that's going to happen next week on Tuesday on April 9th.
Congratulations on that too, Coach.
Thanks, sir. Appreciate it, man.
Sir.
I appreciate it. So and then we have, now with me and what I do now, I've been the last 2 years, I was lucky to be appointed and hired as on the executive leadership team of the Department of Juvenile Justice. And so where I was charged and put and named an executive director for the Florida Youth Foundation, which is a direct service organization for the Department of Juvenile Justice. And so obviously, like most foundation is to, kind of get out, beat the streets, really create different platforms and initiatives to support youth growth in whatever means that may be. And so that's not only with youth, but also with the adults that are helping to facilitate the dream of these particular kids and then give them a comeback story that no one can compete with, And so we know how some of that is from some of the neighborhoods that we come from that sometimes have been put in some situations where they need a comeback story. And I just love cheering for the underdog and creating opportunities for that comeback story. And so I've been blessed to be served as a director for that initiative now for the last 2 years under the leadership of Secretary of the Department of Juvenile Justice, Dr. Eric Hall. And so, which is a great dude that's really trying to do some really positive and great things for kids all around the state that's involved in the juvenile justice system. And so with that, we, as Kelby mentioned, we have a fundraiser that's scheduled for April the 11th. And so that is going to be at the township, 619 Woodward Avenue down in College Town. And so you guys have an opportunity, anybody out there that's obviously of drinking age, responsible, have an opportunity to come by and tip with a purpose. That's what we're calling it, tip with a purpose, be able to come out, man. And that's kind of been my platform for the last, I was with a non-for-profit for the last probably 22 years. And then after that, went with the Leon County Schools in an administrative role before being called by the secretary to come over at the Department of Juvenile Justice. And so it has just been a phenomenal opportunity. We've had an opportunity to partnership with the Florida Lottery, where we host what we call the Everyday Heroes Award, where we kind of identify the top juvenile probation officer of the year, the top juvenile detention officer of the year, the top teacher of the year in the juvenile justice system, the top support staff, and I'm missing one, the top provider. So, DJJ is contracts and provides with other agencies around the state. And so, because without providers, department couldn't do what they do as well. So just a really great opportunity, man. And I really appreciate Coach Kilby, man, for bringing that up and giving me an opportunity, man, to share kind of what I'm doing now in that professional realm outside of football, because all of it is mentoring, right? All of it is mentoring. All of it is giving an opportunity for kids to develop. And if it ain't got nothing to do with kids developing and celebrating great work and staff, I don't want. You know what I mean? So that's
absolutely.
So if you get an opportunity to come out, one of our celebrity bartenders, and I spoke with Coach today, is Coach Cozy. Is gonna.
I saw that.
I know brother. My brother. That's really cool, man. And so I think that's what's so important. I saw a clip the other day by Coach Corey Fuller, and he was talking about just the brotherhood. And I think talking about that brotherhood.
I saw that. I saw that one too.
Yeah. So when we call each other, man, it's so funny, Lance, that if I was to if right now, if Clyde was to see me, he wouldn't say Shake, he wouldn't say Shannon, he wouldn't say Baker, he'd say 89. And to me, I would say to him 89. So we don't even call each other by name.
Yeah.
We just say 89. So everybody in our class, we don't even call each other by name. All we just say is 89. And we know their voice, we know who they're talking about. We know And so it's a really cool thing, man. And so if individuals are out there that would like to kind of come and help us, continue to create opportunities for kids on that redemption road from the juvenile justice system, definitely come out. But there are other ways that too. You can go follow us on Florida Youth Foundation. Go follow us on Instagram. Go follow us on Facebook. Go follow us on Threads. Go follow us on Twitter. Go to our website. So just kind of go and go take a look at us. And Coach, when you play this back, if you can kind of maybe put our stuff out there as well.
Yes, sir.
So if individuals want to see how they can play a role or play a part in it, definitely go do that. And I definitely wanted to put that plug out there to make sure that individuals that, yes, we have great people, good people doing good things over at Leon, but we have individuals doing even better things, man, within their community, outside of the football, outside of the gridiron.
Yes, sir.
Character. If we can win out there, sometimes that's more than what the scoreboard said. The real scoreboard is the life scoreboard, not necessarily what's on the end of that game field at the end of the day.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Yes,
absolutely.
Sir. Coach, I got two questions. And
yes, sir.
I want your favorite memory as a player and as a coach.
Wow. Favorite player well, I think you guys showed a couple of clips as a player. I had so many different memories, but I think that Syracuse game, because of the adversity that went in there after, like I said, that drop screen ball, and then to really be able to get redemption and kind of bounce back, because that's something that could have not happened if Kevin Knox don't come behind and drop the very same ball. I don't get that opportunity. You know what I mean? And so different things. And so what that told me is when life, if you get an opportunity in life, you better take advantage of it.
Right.
Because you never know when you're going to get that. Coach, like I said, Coach Land, you played running back. So, you fumble one, you never know you're going to get you may get that back. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that game was a very special game because it was because of the adversity surrounding it. And then as a coach, I don't know if I've had that top one just yet. I've got a lot of great memories coaching my baby girls. Being in, my I don't know if you guys know, but my daughter Shannon Baker still has the record at Leon for the 800.
Okay, yes, sir.
Yeah, so she was a trainer. I remember having her out in combat boots and Timberlands running in sand pits. Back in the day, man, and running, annual track, and then my daughter Iman was an all-state softball player at Leon. So she did her thing, and then my son Isaiah, he played his ball. He did his thing at both Leon and Lincoln. So something around maybe flag football, coaching up with them, man, and with them when they were little, man. It was just something about those days were really great. But I'll tell you this here though, Lance, and this year, and Coach Kilby knows this. I think there was one kid that really just shot past expectations with me, and that's the one thing I was telling Kilby is that usually there were kids that we had on Leon this year that if we probably had some other talent, probably would have never had an opportunity to play. But I think because we didn't have them, we were forced to show patience and to show your real coaching chops. Can you coach?
Yeah.
And a kid by the name of Eli Bingham that just
I know
from not knowing
a lick of
football to, in my opinion, being the best receiver on the team towards the end of the year. And that's no knock on anybody.
Just at all.
He was able to do. And so I would say to me, Coach, if I was to say coaching, that would be one because I think it tested my patience and it tested to say, okay, go coach.
Yeah.
I
know who he is too, man. I know who he is. So, but But I'm glad y'all got something because the year before, man, he was a little jokester all the time. You want to joke around all the time.
We had to get it out of him. He was still there.
Yeah, he's still there. That ain't going nowhere. That show ain't going nowhere.
Him and that darn Kamara. They were just like this. Him and that Kamara band, but great kids, man. I love those cats, man. But yeah, so I think, man, that is something. And I didn't even think about that before you just mentioned that, Lance. So that was a great question, man. But when I look at it, definitely coaching my babies, I think that's always just something really cool about that. And then that this year, maybe because it's the latest thing, but this year just seeing him grow and just me and Coach Kilby looking at each other like, did you just see that? It was that kind of a deal, So really, really special, man, with that, man.
Yeah. Man, and man, for us, I'm gonna share with coaching, man. We a lot of times, man, we don't know how we touch these kids' lives.
That's right.
Man. And we don't know how we touch these kids' lives. Some of us, man, it's the only father that they'll know, the only father figure that they'll know.
That's right.
That or the only positive impact or role model that they might see. So, man, I'm definitely blessed to be able to spend time and to try to make young men out of these ball players.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. And what you guys are doing too, man. I tell you, man, like I said, Coach Kilby and just the relationships I've heard Coach Kilby guys coached even back at Florida High, and you guys still have those relationships, man, because I just think it's just so important, man. And I always go back to that mentorship and just kind of, I always think about there were about 5 people in my life, and I'm talking about you expect for, and I don't know how we're doing with time, Coach Kilby. Are we okay with time?
You okay?
There are people in my life that you expect family members, right, to kind of have been there and to do that and play a significant role. But I'm talking about people outside of my bloodline that were just monumental in my development as a young person. And like you just said, Coach Lance, it matters, man. There are 5 that come to mind with me. One is a man by the name of John Cooper. John Cooper was someone that, John Cooper was someone, man, that befriended my mom, man, and really provided a platform and resources for me, man, and allowed me to have certain experiences, man, that I would not yet otherwise have had, and loved on me and taught me different things, how to hang ceiling fans, how to do things within an apartment complex and fixing things up, and just from a management standpoint, man, it was just major, man. So that was just someone that in my life that's outside of that bloodline that was crucial. So if I would call my top 5, another one was Deacon Mallett. Deacon Mallett, when I was a young boy growing up, man, in Lakeland, Florida, Zion Hill Primitive Baptist Church, man. Deacon Mallett, man, was the dude. You know what I mean? You know, always sharp dressed. Was the one man that can pray the whole church happy. You know, they was always sharp, had a little pimp to him, you know, that type of deal. But Deacon Mallett, man, you know, was created an atmosphere and a culture for us young folks, man, back then, where we had junior deacons, man. We knew how to pray, we knew how to lead devotion, we knew how to handle church business, man. I mean, all of those things, man, that was instilled in us. And Deacon Mallett, man, and so he would definitely be in my top 5, man. And then you got Coach Gunder. Coach Gunder was my little league coach, man, and so that's when we're talking about those things. There, Coach Gunder, my little league coach, that was in a time where you would, you know, that you wouldn't even know that biases existed. You know what I'm saying? Coach Gunder, Coach, you know, John Cooper was white. Coach Gunder was a white man, and so we would stay over his home, and we didn't know how rich he was at the time, but this dude had wealth. And so Coach Gunder, man, we would be around his kids, around his wife, we'd stay over in his pool, we eat breakfast, ride go-karts, go, I mean, everything, man. And so there were so many things, man. There were times, all the time, my mom didn't probably have the registration fee for me to play. Coach Gunder took care of that.
Right.
You know, every Christmas I had Christmas because of Coach Gunder. You know what I mean? It was just like, it was those kind of things, man. And so just impact players in my life, man. And then Mr. Hicks, my 5th grade teacher. Mr. Hicks was the first male teacher that I ever had, man. That was a guy that just taught me so many things about expectations and how to be a young man and what was so important about being a young man. And I don't know for certain if he went through a HBCU, but I'm almost certain he did, because it was just the way and the expectations that were set and how you should live and how you should conduct yourself as a young man. And then I think last, man, is Miss Baker. Miss Baker, and this is not my mom, this is my chorus teacher. Yes, I was in chorus. I was in chorus. Coach Kilby, I was in chorus from 1st grade all the way to 9th grade in junior high, and loved it, man. I was in chorus, and Miss Baker, man, was someone that opened up, brought me to a home, and she was just a disciplinarian. I think Miss Baker went to BCC, which was Bethune-Cookman College, but was just someone that's just paramount, man, outside of that bloodline, man, that was just major in my life, that helped shape me and just be who I am. And so what I would challenge us all to do, just like Coach Kilby, you, Coach Lance, I would always challenge us to say, listen, if you were asking another person, people that you've been around and people that you've impacted, would they call your name in their top 5? And that's really what time it is, man. I think we should all be striving to be in somebody else's top 5.
But you know, my greatest like coaching moment is coaching. It's not even on the field. About 3 years ago, well, I coached this kid. I got this kid and him and his brother when they was 9 and 10 years old. I coached them in Little League from 9 and 10 to 12 years old. And I was around them every day. Their dad was around. Their dad helped out a little bit. He didn't help coach, but he helped out with the team and stuff. If we needed anything, he'll try to get it. I stopped coaching this kid when he was 12 years old, but I kept up with him. And even after I had moved, I still kept up with him, talked to his mom and his dad to check on him, or talk to him, check on him. Man, his senior year in high school, his dad got in a motorcycle wreck and passed away.
Wow.
Which is his dad's birthday today too. So happy birthday, Dale. And so me and Dale, we shared a birthday. We was close. So
your birthday today, Coach?
Yes, sir. Yeah, yes, sir.
Oh,
yes,
man,
sir.
happy
Yes,
birthday,
sir.
brother.
Thank you. So his senior year, his dad got in a car wreck and died. So when he graduated high school, he called me and asked me to sit in the spot with his dad.
Wow.
And so, man, that at the time,
That's
man, it
powerful,
brought tears to me. Yeah, man,
That's powerful, man.
that really let me know that I was making a difference in
That's
these
right.
kids' lives, man.
That's
So,
right. That's
so,
right,
'cause,
man.
man, that was one of the greatest honors that as a coach that I ever had, and
That's right.
that any coach probably would have agree with me, man.
Oh, yeah,
That's
absolutely.
yeah. So
Absolutely, man. That's powerful, man. And so that's the kind of stuff. That's what coaches do, man.
Yeah.
That's what coaches do,
Absolutely.
man.
Well,
Yeah, that's what coaches do, man.
Yeah.
Well, so Coach Shake, man, I know it's getting late. You know, we're not gonna hold you any longer now.
Okay.
I appreciate you for coming out to this
Yeah,
platform
man.
Man, this has
and
been
chatting
great,
it up
man.
with us.
You got to invite me back, brother.
Yeah. Man, you
We're
welcome
gonna invite
anytime,
back.
man.
Yeah, you
be
welcome
chopping it
anytime.
up,
We're gonna invite
man.
you back.
Listen, y'all be chopping it up, man. I be saying, man, these dudes here, man. I don't know if y'all see me in. I be on.
I see you.
Man, these dudes, they chop it up, man. Y'all done had some good interviews with some kids too, man. That's
right.
really really cool, man. I love the platform, man. I love the platform.
Appreciate you.
Coach Kilby keep doing it. Coach Lance keep doing it, brother. I just think the platform is crazy cool and dope. And I just think if you guys can keep lifting it and starting to honor jokers, you know, when the season started. I don't know how much time he'll be having the season, you know, player of the week and all kind of stuff. And it's just so many different things, man, that can create dialogue, man. But I just, before I get out of here, man, I just want to, man, shout out many of my teammates, man, back at you know, whether at Florida State, at Lakeland. I don't know if it's streaming. I think this is streaming on my page. I don't know if it is or not, Coach. It didn't ask me. It didn't ask me when I went on. Like you were telling me when you give me those instructions, like when they say, okay, did it ask you if you want to go on, or did it automatically? I don't know, but I do want those guys, man, to know, like, you know, guys, man, that I played with, man, like, you know, my cousin and Torrey Hargrove, you know, Stephon Williams. You know, you had, you know, Pat Taylor, Joe Stafford, man, guys, you know, Willie Buford, Eddie Goins. You know, I don't know if you guys remember Eddie Goins from NC State, man, that was just a dog in his own right, man. And so, you know, Larry Young that went to Auburn, Travis Galloway, you know, like I say, man, Quentin King was my running back at that time that actually went over to Appalachian State, man. But we had just some guys, man, that were just good. Fullback, Gerald McKenzie. Just really cool guys, man, that we were just really cool fellas, man, that I have always admired. And I've always admired the mentors, man. When I came in, I don't know if you guys knew about the Fab Four, but the Fab Four was Ron Lewis, Terry Anthony, Lawrence Dawsey, and Bruce Lassane. And I was the ace in the hole. So they just called me the ace in the hole. So I came behind them guys as an understudy, man. And I learned how to play receiver from them dudes. I just learned to play receiver from them dudes, man. And so I owe a ton to them cats, man, and they just helped me develop as a person.
Dawson was coaching at one time, wasn't he? Is he coaching?
He's still coaching now. He's at Appalachian State, matter of fact.
Okay.
Yeah, he's at Appalachian State now. He came and visited us last year, Coach Kibbe. You remember? I think he came to a spring.
I remember.
Spring.
Okay.
But yeah, man. So just man, you know, I don't want to forget, man, and just kind of shout out, because I think this is a platform where people should be celebrated. And man, with the passing of my mother, man, my aunt, Annette Holmes is kind of like my big sister, my aunt, and mom, all wrapped up in one, man.
Right,
She is an impact and you know, help really kind of, you know, being there later when my mom was kind of she was really the caretaker of my mom, man, and just everything about her, man, I love it. So I just wanted to make sure that before I was able to, you know, I wanted to make sure that I celebrated and share on a platform like this of how much, you know, those individuals, man, mean to me. And my beautiful wife, you've heard me mention her, but she is everything to me. You know what I mean? So she's a great person, and love her to life. And but yeah, man, this platform is awesome. Thank you, Coach Kelby, man, for giving me the opportunity to come on. Thank you, Coach Lance, man. Just so I hope this has been just as cool for you guys as it's been.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh yeah. It's been a pleasure, Coach. I was geeked up for this one. As you can see at the beginning, I was geeked up.
Hey, Coach, you got me with the shade, Coach.
Listen,
So before I go, Coach, I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I don't have no shades around right now.
I'm gonna put mine back on before we go back out.
Hey, Coach Baker, my wife, we had something planned for I said we got to do it early, man. I said we got the podcast. We're gonna have Coach Baker on here. I said I said this is one I really want to do right here. I said we got to have this one. So
yeah, man, this is awesome, man. This is cool stuff.
Well, guys, this is the run. Shannon touchdown. Shannon Baker touchdown maker.
Yes,
Mr.
sir.
Swag right and everything right here, live and in effect. Y'all see it right here first on Swag Friday for the Run podcast. Shannon Baker, we appreciate you, my brother.
Man, we appreciate you coming on, man.
All right, man. Y'all be good, man.
Yes,
Talk to y'all later,
you be
man.
good.
Yes,
all right. Whew.
Well,
I tell you, Lance, I said this was gonna be Swag Friday.
Yeah,
man.
that was a good one, man. That was a good one, man. That's a good one. I like that.
Well,
man, that's a positive role model, man. Positive guy,
well.
positive coach. Great role model, kids. It's a great role model, and man, I'm glad he came on the show. I'm glad he blessed us with the presence to come on the show.
Well, man, Lance, and happy birthday once again, man, guys.
Man,
if
thank you.
Y'all make sure y'all comment and stories or whatever, man. Mr. Wish Lance Rochelle happy birthday, man, because he's out here doing the big right now. He's out here on this podcast and this platform and trying to give y'all this creative content on his birthday, man. So I make sure y'all wish this man a happy birthday. So
I appreciate it, brother.
With everything to run, we got Justin Ralston, our producer, on the ones and twos on the tech. Sean Griffin, Lance Rochelle. This is the run. Oh, come carry us on out, Lance Rochelle.
Hey. What God got for you, can't nobody take from you.
Y'all hear it here first. What God got for you, can't nobody take from you. This is the run, and we are done.